right, everybody, back. Brand new Cabral Concept. This is our Friday review. Excited to share with you, as always, 2 brand new research studies. One I want to share with you is particularly on getting vitamin D while inside, if that's actually possible by getting exposed to sunlight. We'll go over what the research actually shares on that. We'll go over a 13-year study that finished up that talks about a particular product that helps improve cardiovascular health overall by 31%, so reducing death by cardiovascular issues, reducing cancer by 15%, and reducing all-cause mortality by 26%. Pretty impressive study, really simple to follow. I'll share the research on that. I've got a great book review. This is actually one of our expert speakers at the Reimagine Health Summit. They're going to be talking about healthier homes, so I want to bring you that research and a great book as well. And then this will be a fun follow-up from earlier in the week on the benefits of bee pollen, all of those. I have 5 products sitting here on my desk that I'm going to take you through that I actually use with my family. So without further ado, let's dive right into the show. I'm just going to get right into what you may have missed last week, because my entire last week is really revolved around starting to get into my keynote, finish my keynote for the Reimagine Health Summit. So besides that, it has been all work. And then of course, my exercise, family, all that good stuff. I'll be sharing more about that in the future. I've got a brand new pre-workout that I've been working on. And yes, it's bright green if you're not watching this on video. I'll share more details on that in the next coming months. But podcast recap was 3167, the Motivation and Mindset Monday. If you didn't miss it, it goes over what you need to do as a human. There's basically 3 main things to pull ahead of the crowd, your previous you, your specific goals, how to up level each and every year. And I think that that's kind of important as we start to move into, coming soon, a brand new year, believe it or not. It is coming right around the corner. All right, Tuesday's show was, is there such a thing as protein overload? Now, again, before people jump into it saying that protein's amazing, I get it. Yes, it is. But what happens when you have too much? What does it look like on a lab test when that happens? So I go over a specific case study that we see inside of our practice that we can actually share with people. You're at your upper limit. And then we go over a new supplement, kind of the new supplement on the block, Fatty 15, and how it shapes up versus Omega-3s. I go over the latest research studies. And then yesterday's show is going over the benefits of bee pollen, propolis, royal jelly, and more. So I'll actually go over some products right here with you today. And what I want to do is dive right into those. So these are actually products that my family and I use on a daily or weekly basis. So yesterday I go over the differences with these products. Definitely tune into that show. I'll link them up, but of course they are always at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And everything today will be at stephencabral.com/3171. I may or may not be able to link up any actual products or supplements because the FDA doesn't like that too much. But of course, I can always link up books and research. All right. So first one I want to share with you is this is direct from our neighbors. So I'm not going to show you the label because the label actually says Greek olives on it. But we have neighbors that have their own bees. And so my wife makes amazing sourdough and all sorts of amazing, basically foods. And so she'll share those and our neighbors share honey. It's basically like going back to, a couple hundred years ago with bartering and all those different things with food, but basically sharing what we have, which I think is amazing as neighbors. So you can see that dark, rich amber color, like really dark. And that's from all the wildflowers in the neighborhood. And if you were to look through this, you would actually see kind of bits of pollen and different things like that. So this is true wildflower honey. So my family and I will use this or Manuka honey. And I have previous podcasts on Manuka honey as well. All right. What I will do is, and so there's no brand on that for wildflower honey, but look in your local, I would say natural health shop for your favorite local honeys. Now, this company I've been using, it's called Green Bow, and I don't have any affiliation with these companies. So this is bee pollen. So if you look, again, if you're not watching this on video, that's okay. These look like little granules. And these little granules, they're kind of semi-soft, like they've got a little bit of a crunch to them, but not quite too much. They're actually very tiny granules. And What these are bee pollen, and they are packed with vitamins and minerals and dense nutrients. And so once a week, I go with my daughters to get an acai bowl. And I add these onto the acai bowl. I absolutely love it. Gives a little bit of crunch and a lot more nutrients. Okay, next one I want to share with you is royal jelly. So royal jelly, if you listened into yesterday's show, this is the anti-aging skincare one. This is the food for royalty, namely the queen bee. So this is basically just a big jar of royal jelly. The company name is YS Eco Bee Farms. I actually use another one of their products, which I'll share with you right now, and that is Propolis 1000. So you can take 1 or 2 of these a day. Yesterday's show talked about propolis, probably the best out of the 4 for the immune system, anti-pathogenic, kind of nice to use during the wintertime or coughs, colds, etc. They have a product by, well, let me share their other product by YS Eco Bee Farms. This one's called Royal Jelly, Bee Pollen, and Propolis. So if you want a product that combines all of the benefits of royal jelly, bee pollen, and propolis, this is the one. 200 milligrams of royal jelly, 600 milligrams of bee pollen, and 200 milligrams of bee propolis. So is it as strong as all the others? No, but fairly small capsules and you get a little bit of everything. This is one that I don't personally use because I shared with you the others, but this is sometimes one I'll give to my daughters during the winter cold flu-based season. Just great overall for health. And then the last one I'll share with you is one that I just started. And so this is the propolis that I've been playing around with. It's a much stronger version, purportedly. And this one is by Green Bow, and it's called Green Propolis. I believe the only place they have green propolis is in South America, in Brazil. Don't quote me on that, but it is much more rare. And these capsules are actually green with the chlorophyll based coloring. So all great products. Greenbow is one of them. The YS Eco Bee Farms that I spoke about. And then of course, local wildflower honey. So that is exactly what I use. And it's not, again, it's not foundational. So kind of just keep in mind, it's like, do I need to get these products? You don't need to get these products. But I always know that people are looking to kind of one up their own game. And I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I'll add in from time to time. And nobody has, as they say, a bee pollen or propolis or any of those deficiency, right? So you need all of your good vitamins and your minerals, your vitamin D, your omega-3s. You need those. That's really important. But as you're building onto that foundation of good nutrition and good nutritional supplements, you can start to look at what also might be great for you as well. I decided to add some of these in mainly because I've increased the volume of my training, mainly in endurance based, and I was looking for something overall I'm always looking for that for immune modulation to help my more Th2 dominant immune system. Again, I'm healthy, all my labs look good, I feel great, but that doesn't mean I'm always not trying to better my best, which I am. Okay, that's our product review of the week. Book review for the week is Healthier Homes by Jen and Rusty Stout. As I said, we're going to be having an amazing, we call it a founder fireside chat with the both of them, and that'll be at the Reimagine Health Summit. And I'm looking forward to it, I really am. I bought their book. I found out about them not too long ago, and they are really going in depth on what I talked about and spoke about and wrote about in the rain barrel effect, which is basically toxic home syndrome. And Jen, one of the authors of this book and founders of the company, unfortunately went through that herself. And so she kind of goes through the story, and now an entire knowledge base and business and book based around that. It's always pretty amazing. For like $20, you can get all of their best stuff. I mean, I'm just going to read you just what you're going to get. So understanding before, like, let's just say you're going to build a house or an addition or build out a new room. Building materials, evaluating the indoor living, choosing even the right place to live, looking at that as well, designing a healthy living space, talking about breaking ground, the foundation, the structure, the type of roofing to use, the exterior, the lumber, what it might be sprayed with. So really going into it. Then indoor air, indoor water, indoor energy, looking at the walls and the finishes, looking at specific paints to use, non-toxic paints, so there's no VOCs in them, looking at metal and stone and upholstery and foam and insulation. So pretty amazing. I mean, it really is an excellent book. And one of the nice things is, and the reason why I understand it, even though $20 is not a lot of money, right? This book has 4 color images. It's like a step-by-step guide. It's fantastic. So if you're thinking about an addition or a renovation to your home, or maybe even building new, definitely a book that I recommend getting ahead of time, giving yourself a couple weeks to read it over. You'll have so much more knowledge going into the process. Again, called Healthier Homes, A Blueprint for Creating a Toxin-Free Living Environment by Jen and Rusty Stout. I will link it up today at stephencabral.com/3171. I'll link up the Amazon link. Amazing book. Check it out. Okay, first research study of the day. I actually spoke about this many years ago on the show, but the show has been around now for many years. And I talked about how, believe it or not, getting sunlight through a window, and I'm not talking about, 5 minutes or sun or so, I'm talking about real deep sunlight exposure through a window, is actually more detrimental to the body. Leads to more the negative effect of the rays, as well as more wrinkling of the skin. And nobody wants that, right? Like this is certainly, we don't want to be prone more to melanoma and wrinkles of the skin. We actually want the vitamin D benefits. So newer study came out. This one was out of BU, I believe, right? Yeah, Boston University. And the head of the study was Dr. Holick, PhD and MD, expert in biochemistry, physiology, metabolism, and photobiology of vitamin D. Professor of School of Medicine at BU. All right, so right down the street from where my clinic or 2 locations used to be. And let's go over it right now. Does sitting by a window help you get more vitamin D? So while it may be more comfortable to sit by a sunny window when it's cold or hot outside, window glass in homes, cars, trains, buses, etc., blocks the UVB radiation. UVB radiation is needed for the body to produce the vitamin D essential for bone, cardiovascular, and immune health. So you still need some time outdoors in the sun at times of the day, especially between that 10 and 2 hour, more towards the winter time, and then maybe not so much during the 10 to 2 hour when sun is at its strongest during those summer-based months. So let's keep in mind that there is no right amount of sun exposure for every individual, depending on your skin tone. The darker your skin, the more time you need getting vitamin D outside. The less dark your skin, the less time you need. Some people might only need 10 to 15 minutes. Others may need a couple of hours. It depends on the individual. It also depends where you are in the United States. Check on a heat map. We usually put these out once a month on Instagram, especially during the winter, where you are in the United States. Again, of course, you could look at, globally as well, will dictate really how strong the sun is. So I will say, if you are north, essentially, of Atlanta, Georgia, for about 6 months of the year, typically the sun is not strong enough to get your vitamin D levels up naturally. There are vitamin D lamps. We'll probably do a review on one of the newer ones in the future. And then, of course, there's vitamin D3 supplementation. Really difficult to get good, strong vitamin D through food. So when you can, get it through the sun. Safe sun, of course, don't burn. And then also good quality vitamin D3. The product we use is called liquid vitamin D, and you can use liquid vitamin D3. You can use it for children or adults and just dose based on your needs. Most adults we found in our practice need about 4,000 to 5,000 IUs a day. That's about 100 to 125 micrograms. And then children, you're going to base it off of their body weight. And it's usually about 35 IUs per pound of body weight. So if we're looking at, let's just say, when we start using supplementation, let's say a child is 50 pounds, we'll multiply that by 35, and we get about 1,750 in terms of total vitamin D. For children, I will let you know I err on the lower side of that. My daughters are now 10 and 12. They get about 500 to 1,000 IUs of vitamin D each day during the winter time. And it works great when I test their vitamin D levels, which you can do, by the way, right at home. So if you've never tested vitamin D levels, that's the only way to know if you're getting the right amount of nutritional supplementation. So I can link that up as well. StephenCabral.com/3171 will link up the vitamin D test. And as I said, vitamin D should also not be taken in isolation. Always take it with a daily activated multivitamin or the daily nutritional support. So you're getting your calcium, magnesium, vitamin K2, etc. And that goes for children as well. You don't want to load up vitamin D for kids if they're not getting any magnesium, anything else. So always err on the lower side, especially for children. Test your levels, and you'll, of course, always know then what your right levels are for you. All right, let's get now into the last study of the day. I just gave you the excerpt of it, but I would love to link up these two research studies. And this one is on omega-6 to omega-3 based risk. And I've got two studies that I want to lock in. This one was done, let's see here, 13-year study of more than 85,000 adults published in eLife, done out of, let's see, University of Georgia, Athens. And Dr. Yi was the assistant professor of genetics and bioinformatics at that university. Okay, so let's go over. A omega-3 to omega-6 imbalance is linked to higher mortality risk. Both omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids are healthy, but Western diets are higher in omega-6s than omega-3s. That's actually an important note. People automatically say omega-6s are bad for you. It's actually not true at all. Omega-6s are very healthy for you. It's when they go overboard and they're overdone, then they're not good for you. We actually need a slightly higher ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. And they're used for our cell membranes. They're used for a lot of processes in the body. The problem is the standard American diet or a Western-based diet is anywhere from an 18-to-1 to 20-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s, where it should be closer to a 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s. Okay, let's go on with the study. It says people with the highest ratios of omega-6 to omega-3s had a greater risk, 31%, chance of dying from cardiovascular disease, a 14% higher risk of dying from cancer, and a 26% increased risk of dying from any cause, meaning all-cause mortality. So if you have a high omega-6 to omega-3, the higher it is, the greater chance for cardiovascular death, number one killer in the U.S., greater chance for cancer, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3 people by the year 2030. And all-cause mortality, of course, is anything that could go wrong with our body, which is typically blood sugar, blood pressure, cancer, cardiovascular, and dementia. Like those are the main things of why people die at an earlier age. So the recommendation was consume more omega-3s found in fatty fish, such as salmon and mackerel. And as we always say, test to make sure and supplement if you're not getting fish about 5 times per week is what we've seen in our studies to get about a 3-to-1 ratio. All right. Then a follow-up I wanted to share with you. This is a meta-analysis published in JAMA Cardiology, and it goes over the risk reduction rate of myocardial infarction when supplementing with omega-3s. So there was a 28% risk reduction in heart attacks when supplementing with anywhere between 1 and 2 grams of omega-3s per day. And this is a 95% confidence rating in this study. So why I wanted to share that with you is that a little bit earlier in the week, we spoke about a supplement claiming to be better than omega-3s. There is no supplement right now that has human clinical trials that has been for around as long as omega-3s with this type of research. So as I just want to reiterate, there's anywhere between 20 and 30,000 plus studies on omega-3s, and there were 0 on the previous study. And again, it just blows my mind, but let's be careful. Again, always jumping to new products that are fancy, that have great marketing behind them. Let's use what we know to be foundational for our health. And then yes, in the future, once these are proven out to be safe, we can add them on to, not replace what we already know to be great. So hopefully today's show was helpful. All the research, the Healthier Homes book, everything I can link to, I'm going to link up at StephenCabral.com/3171. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow on our Cabral House Calls. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.